p.m. We'll start the session now. Yuva 2.0, as part of its 2021 initiative, wanted to start early, the week of celebration, and as our line goes, education is celebration. We are presenting some stalwarts and big speakers week long for various topics. Yesterday we had an intro session by me, and today we have Puja Guruji Sri Mr. Ravisankar, founder facilitators of the courses at RIE, the Raviji's Infinity Education program. He inherited legal profession from his ancestors and is a postgraduate in law, but opted to stop practicing the legal battles. He hails from the lineage of masters following Puja Guruji Rishi Prabhakar, being with him for over 3 decades. Being a disciple of Guruji inspired him to develop this special program for parents called ISP, and further developed courses for pregnant or planning couples to free a child from any sort of hindrance for their growth. Sri Raviji has personally conducted more than 1,000 workshops on various aspects, from education to yoga, from the science of living to religious harmony, from health and fitness to rural development and natural farming. He was blessed by his grandmaster, Nada Brahma Bhagavan Sri Vishweshwaraya, in Nadi Vidya, and directed and created a number of devotional music albums. Nada Vidya, I'm sorry. He composed many songs with lyrics and tuned them with grace of Divine Master. He does many rural development programs under the inspirational leadership for rural development philosophy. He is married as per the recitation and has 2 children and thousands of disciples to care for. He has ashrams in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Guntur, Vizag, Bombay, Pune, Karimnagar, Shivamogga, where people enjoy in deep silence. He is also a catalyst for hundreds of Muslims and Hindus to pray together in temples and mosques. He is a well-covered media personality, contributed many things to the world, some of which I wish to read. He established hundreds of SSY, Siddha Samadhi Yoga based centers throughout India and abroad. He built more than 25 Rishi Kshetras throughout India catered to education, agriculture, health and welfare activities. He founded more than 40 rural and urban Matru Mandirs in AP and Karnataka, conducted hundreds of seminars on leadership in management studies, parenting and religious harmony, and the long list goes on. I welcome, without any further ado, Mr. Ravisankar to start his session now. It's a session that's going to be for about 45 minutes. After that, the whole session will be open for question and answers. Over to Ravisankar ji.
Vande Guru Parampara. It's so nice of you to introduce me to the elite of the session today present here. So I would like to say a small thing about how I got into this. Actually, I got into this by meeting many great masters, starting from Swami Chinmayanandaji. Then I happened to meet my Guruji Rishi Prabhakar in the year 1983, 82-83 at that time. I was just studying law, and then when I met him, I found something unique, and then I followed him. I just joined him. More than following him, I joined him, and then I completed my law and then joined my parents because my father was a lawyer. We inherited about 200-year-old office, so I had to take it up, and then I found myself not suitable for the profession. Then I continued my journey with my Guru Rishi Prabhakarji. He has molded me, he has trained me, he has made me no other than him, like that. He has given everything of him to me. I am so fortunate to be blessed by a master like my Guruji Rishi Prabhakar, who was an aeronautical engineer, a computer scientist, one of the topmost brilliant people in the world, who has offered a program called Siddha Samaj Yoga, which is very popular, and I could shoulder it around, taking it to nooks and corners of the world. Today, I am blessed to be the president of a movement called Neighborhood Community Network, where we train children in children's parliaments, establishing more than 15 lakh children's parliaments throughout the country in almost 16 countries. And today we have got a global youth parliament, with India having a national level children's parliament. So we got 2 international awards, that is the Best Children's Movement Award and the Best Women's Movement Award. All these things are because of my Guru's blessings and people like you who contributed a lot in my journey. I am very thankful to Padmanabhanji, who has started this Yuva 2.0, invited me to be a part of this movement and present today something about premarital education. So I am going to present you something about premarital education, because a lot of people think life is something like a flow and everything happens on its own. Yeah, definitely everything happens on its own. If you just leave the soil to itself, plants come up, definitely. Okay, that is nature's law, but may not be the plants that you want to have. Definitely it may be a forest, or it may be a garden. Garden is where you grow the plants you want to have. So I want everybody to have a beautiful, colorful garden kind of a life throughout. For that, the journey starts much before marriage. So that's why today's session is very, very important. I wish everybody kindly participate with full enthusiasm. I'm going to share something today with you. Okay. Thank you. Can you all see what I'm sharing on the screen? Vinodji?
Yes, Raviji, it's visible.
Thank you very much. So, premarital education for a married life of celebration. That is what we are going to present today. So, premarital education addresses common problems that affected all the couples throughout their life. Even if everybody here married, they can look into before marriage and after marriage kind of a thing. It affects finances, communication, beliefs and values, intimacy, parenting styles, conflict resolutions, and then decision making, the role each parent will play in the marriage, what husband does and what wife has to do like this, and how to deal with difficult in-laws, and how much time they will spend together. So like this, there are so many aspects we look into in premarital education. When I'm saying all these things, maybe some of the things must be triggering some thoughts in your mind. Okay, so these are all the common problems that affects couples. And then today, if you look at the present marriage scenery, there's so much. They spend lakhs and lakhs of rupees for a marriage, and many times they are not happily married. Whenever we read a story, a tale, there will be a prince and the princess, and finally they get married, and they lived happily married and lived happily ever after, like that we study. We read like that. But today's situation is not, marriage has not become a cakewalk. So today we see something very, very devastating. Divorces, the statistical analysis says the increase in divorces is something triggering an alarm for the whole country. Statistics show that only 13 out of 1,000 Indian marriages end up to a divorce, which is quite low in comparison to America's 50% of marriages turned into breakups. I have so many people, you may be knowing also, who have gone abroad, married there and married there and married there. I heard one small joke in a movie like saying that Nee chelli pelli kavali malli malli, means like let them be married again and again. It cannot be like that. Okay, it may be something to laugh at, but it is a very big problem the youth are facing today. Even if that is the case, a rapid increase in the divorce cases has been observed during last few years. Okay, divorces granted by the family courts increased by 350% between 2003 and 2011 in only Calcutta, and doubled in Mumbai between 2010 and 2014. Okay, this is the situation, very alarming situation. So people are all feeling either philosophical, like means why to get married and get into trouble like this. They think marriage is something a problem. They don't know that lack of education about marriage is the problem. Okay, so today, with all the most sophisticated education systems, we have forgotten something very, very valuable in our premarital education. The marital relationship has influence on all aspects of life. A good relationship may elevate your profession, business, or art. The premarital education paves the way for it. Okay, it helps to avoid making the usual mistakes that couples living together make. The same mistakes that can destroy relationships. So if you have a premarital education, you can easily foresee the situation and overcome them and be able to handle it at much ease. Okay, just like you want to drive a vehicle, they give you a license. That means before that you will have a learner's license, then only you will be allowed to take driver's license. But no such possibility is there today in the marital life. You just get into a lifetime relationship not knowing what it is and how to handle it. So premarital education helps to avoid making all these mistakes, and premarital education improves a couple's chances staying together in a happy relationship and avoiding a painful divorce. Armed with prior knowledge of what can go wrong between partners and how to survive a rough patch goes a long way to keeping love alive. So premarital education addresses the most common problems that affect couples, like finances, communication, belief and values, intimacy, parenting styles, okay, conflict resolution, decision making, the role each partner will play in the marriage, how to deal with difficult situations. Okay, so this is premarital education. It's about establishing a celebrating family. Who doesn't like celebrations? Everybody wants to have celebrations, but how to make life itself a celebration? It's about expanding one's individual happiness to a family celebration. So premarital education gives youth to choose their ideal life partner. It helps one to be prepared to the new challenges that comes along with the marriages. Yes, you can start designing your life in celebration. According to a study from Austin, Texas, married couples that did not receive premarital training later said that they believed such education would have improved their current level of satisfaction. I have seen a lot of people who go through my trainings. This one thing that they feel dissatisfied is, oh my God, I should have done it much earlier. Yes, definitely. Ideally, such training provides a sense of respect for the institution of marriage. And premarital education teaches future husbands and wives that they are responsible for the happiness of their long-term relationship and emotional intimacy. Instead of blaming each other, the blame game will not happen. And couples that take the training are more determined to make the marriage last and stand a much better chance of loving each other into old age than those who don't. So is it not so important? Look at it. Okay. Now, what do you learn in premarital education? There are a lot of aspects like finances, communication, belief and values, roles in marriage, sex and intimacy, parenting, the in-laws, decision making, anger management, spending time together, and even spirituality. And much more, okay, you can learn in the premarital education. And how and what it can do, like what it can resolve. Yeah, premarital education can resolve continuing previous affairs, domestic violence, the dowry problem, forced marriages, divorces, and parenting issues. We will look into each aspect, like how premarital education help, like with respect to finances. According to a survey by the American Psychological Association, 31% couples reported that money issues cause major problems and conflicts within their marriage. And it's common for two people in a relationship to have completely different views about money. In the same family, if brother and mother and all these people will have their own concept about money. One partner may want to spend more extravagantly than the other, or feel deeply anxious if there are no savings for a rainy day. So, like the different views about money people carry. So, in premarital education, participants will learn how to achieve a balance so that one partner doesn't dominate the other. Okay. So, with that, what happens? There is a beautiful relationship of respect that goes to each other. People will not find that my word is to be heard, I am the right person and I have all the right, and all these kinds of things will be vanishing. So a person's attitude to money depends on their background. Okay. So for example, when decisions are made about making big purchases like a car or house or going on vacation, yeah, they come to a proper understanding, like how much we can spend, what we have to do, what are the resources we have. All these things will become a common understanding. A person's attitude to money depends on what? Their background. That means from where they have come up. A person who is born and brought up in a nuclear family thinks differently. A person who has come from a joint family thinks differently. From a background of middle class thinks differently, upper class differently. So all these backgrounds matter. Perhaps most important of all, couples will learn to discuss money disagreements openly and honestly, and resolve them without harboring or festering resentments towards each other. This is very, very important. And then another issue is about communication. Communication is more important than love in marriage. Okay? How couples communicate with each other can make or break a marriage. It is a foundation of a beautiful, strong partnership. Many modern marriages fail just because both the partners grows distant with time. Daily life takes a toll on quality of marriage because they are busy. Both of them are busy. Some husbands may become Sunday uncles, something like that. So communication stops, and instead of resolving the issues, partners end the marriage. This is the very pitiable situation. As they say, communication is more important than love in marriage. Those who know it preserve it. So difference that we have to know between winning an argument and resolving an issue by discussing. And premarital education helps couples understand why yelling at each other is destructive. Couples will also learn the difference between winning like this. Okay, and don't worry about winning, but find resolving the differences by communication. The problem with open minds, we have to, open-mindedness will develop with the premarital education. Then the other issue that couples face is beliefs and values. Some people believe that couples who have the same core beliefs, values, and religion are more likely to have a successful marriage than those who do not. But is this necessarily true? Not so. Couples that attend premarital education are sometimes surprised to find that their beliefs and values are not as similar as they previously thought, but still they are really happy together. So, whether a couple has common beliefs and values or widely differing opinions, premarital education will help them understand how to respect each other's views without having to sacrifice their own. Okay. This is most important. People feel like, oh, I have to sacrifice something for the sake of my husband or wife, like this. Not necessary. If you understand and go through this premarital education, you will see how both of you can be in love and in sharing, respect each other's values, and still continue a beautiful relationship. And when it comes to the next point is about roles in marriage. Ego clashes lead to dissatisfaction from marriage. Ego means what? I am husband or I am wife. Today both of them feel that I am special or I am better or I am different from you. This is a problem. This in turn leads to divorce. Women these days are ready to walk off a marriage that isn't working for them. Increasing women's independence has much to do with increasing divorce rates. Hope you may agree with me. Couples could be in for some nasty surprises if they assume that they understand the role each will play in the marriage without discussing it first. So simply don't take it for granted or assume things. Perhaps one partner has assumed the other will stay home to look after the children when they arrive, or they will share the household chores and preparing the family meals, like that. Finding out after the event that your assumptions were a fantasy will lead to resentment and unhappiness. That's why a premarital education gives you a clarity that can be developed much before marriage, so that you don't have to resent or feel unhappy about the decision you have taken to marry. Okay. And next comes is sex and intimacy. In the honeymoon stage of love and romance, sex may seem to be the one thing that is not a problem. But as the children arrive and the normal pressures of life and responsibilities start to mount, sex may become less appealing for one or both partners. This happens not to everybody in life. So premarital education is essential to help couples understand that they may have different sexual drives and appetites, and how to handle the post-honeymoon phase when one partner may not be as sexually adventurous or want sex as often as the other. Okay. It will also help couples find ways to keep their sexual activity and intimacy fresh and alive throughout their married life. You can have an ecstatic life even in your old age. Okay. So it will help this way. Now, next thing we need to look at is, why do we get married is a question. Fundamentally, you marry not to just to have a partner in your life, but for your progeny. That means for your next generation. So you married to be a parent. That's why whenever in India a person gets married, in the marriage itself they bless you. Have 100 children. People will say, 100, my God, like that. But parenting is a very wonderful, phenomenal, experience in life, where you look and you are ready to give all of yourself for the sake of the love that you get from your child. So when it comes to parenting, if the couple have not developed a proper understanding, it will be very disastrous. So how we have to handle parenting is also a part of this training. The chances are that a couple will discuss and agree on how many children they are going to have and when they are going to have, or even before they attend the classes, they may think of all that thing. Many people discuss about it even before marriage. But what they miss is, they may not have discussed is that their parenting style. How do we bring up the children? Are they on the same page about how children should be disciplined when necessary? Or whether children should have a set routine for bedtime? When should the new baby be moved from the parent's bedroom to its own? Such kind of issues nobody will discuss. So these things are also to be properly understood. It may look like, oh, too much. No, not so. Most of the people think when the problem comes, we'll think of it. Not so. These are all going to happen in every family. Every parent will face it. But getting prepared is more important. Don't have to be like they say, Yuddha Kale Shastrabhyasa. So different parenting styles can be a minefield, I tell you. It is far better than any significant differences are addressed before getting married than for the children to suffer a broken home later. This is how it is. You should know how to really bring up the children, in a natural, disciplined way. So what is also possible with their children, if you don't know, you will try to mold them to your own limited sense of understanding. We need to develop our children for a future, not for your present or for the past. So how well you develop your children for the future is a part of this premarital education. Then one of the biggest problems that married couple face is the in-laws. It's a fortunate position to be in if you get along well with your future in-laws. But this is often not the case. In-laws may be controlling and intrusive. They may be manipulative and demanding of your time. They may drive you crazy, insisting that you live, think, and behave the way they do. Then you feel that stress. Not necessarily it is only for the girl, it can happen to the boy also. It's unlikely that these problems can be resolved without professional help. Instead, they will lead to deeply hurtful arguments once you are married. Those hurts may not heal for the lifetime also. Many times they say, you remember on that day you told like this. It's simply people have to carry. But without such kind of situation, you can easily overcome those things if you have this training, premarital education. This helps couples avoid making each other choose between in-laws and each other. You want me or your mother. This kind of situation will not come. You will learn how to set boundaries for the in-laws lovingly and respectfully. You will also understand the importance of compromise without self-sacrifice. Okay, so this is how a person becomes mature enough to handle a family situation. Then comes the next very important thing that husband and wife normally argue is about decision making. Anything that comes to the decision making. During the first flush of romantic love, a person may be so smitten that they agree with every decision that their future spouse makes. I don't mind. Okay, all right, and all that. After all, they love them beyond words, right? And they want them to be happy. But what happens after marriage and your spouse decides, without discussing it with you, taking it for granted, whatever you were before marriage, that the family is moving to Dubai to pursue a job opportunity, then something happens. How will you feel about pausing your career without a reasonable prospect or even getting a job in Dubai? What about children's schooling? Couples need a roadmap of how to come to a unified decision without one person imposing their will on the other. Perhaps leaving other feeling trapped and oppressed. Correct? So this is a part of the premarital education. Now comes the next thing that is very, very important in, of course, every aspect of life, every part of life, every profession that is involved, that is anger management. This is a part of this training. It is a rare couple who live peacefully with each other 24 hours a day. I want to ask anybody here who says we never quarreled. You never got angry. You know, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, being peacefully together is not so. There is a high probability that couples will sometimes be irritable or angry with each other. Okay, habits that didn't use to annoy you may suddenly do so one day, and yelling at your partner will be both surprising and hurtful to them. Mild annoyance at a habit that your partner is unaware of can quickly escalate into full blown up anger where each person says increasingly hurtful things that may result in long lasting bitterness and resentment. Don't talk to each other for days together. Somebody has to come and then settle your issue. These kind of things, need not happen. Every time you feel that kind of a flirt, after the flirt of anger is gone, then you feel like, I shouldn't have behaved that way. That kind of a feeling that you carry, guilt you carry, is not necessary if you understand how to handle your anger. Premarital education can help couples to learn to manage their anger. The importance of not suppressing negative emotions towards each other, but instead to discuss them positively and to know when and how to offer an honest apology also. Okay, you must be very gracefully accept and say I'm sorry. Okay, this is how the husband or wife will feel more close to the partner. Okay. So next thing is spending time together. You're married because you want to spend more time together. Okay. Love is what actually spending time together. What you can give, most valuable thing that you can give to the person whom you love is your time, nothing other than that. Some couples have strong, healthy marriages when they are joined at the hip. They do everything together and they are never apart. That's a very beautiful time. Others follow their own interests separately and spend a great deal of time apart, and they too have strong marriages. But what happens when one partner wants to spend more time together and the other less time? Think of it. Does one partner feel neglected and uninvolved and the other resentful and claustrophobic? So honest discussion where you both feel loved and content is very important. Premarital education can help couples understand why one partner needs more time together and the other less time. It can help you reach compromises with open and honest discussion where you both feel loved and content. Then comes continuing previous affairs. Despite of the rise of the intercaste marriages, there are still many families that don't allow to marry away their daughter and sons to someone they like, because of different caste or religion or ethnicity. Like sometimes financial condition, status, and social political pressure at the end. Okay, some people choose to continue contacting the person who they liked before marriage, and their spouse somehow learns this, causing marital issues. So pre-marital education helps you how to overcome those situations, build a better bond between husband and wife, and overcome the past and lead a beautiful future. Okay. So this is how you have to protect your partner, your spouse, from third person. Okay. Build trusting relationships so that you are for sure you are together and you stand together. And then comes domestic violence. Today we find a lot of times, whatever the pent up, anger or feelings are pushed on the life partner. in most cases it is husband who has egoistical and or trust issues. They may not trust something like that. But men too are the victims of domestic violence and other kinds of abuses. Okay, I have been a lawyer for quite some time and I have seen so many cases I handled. But many things are settled not by court but by counseling. I used to call both and make them say it. Like almost 80-90 cases in my career of 4 years settled. We had something like 200-300 cases. About 80 cases I settled like this. So I found myself not fit for the profession. Okay. So, but that gives a tremendous satisfaction and understanding that make you realize that courts cannot bring people together. They can only help people to separate. That's all. So if statistics are to be believed, it is also believed that the actual number is much higher than those that are reported with respect to domestic violence because of the social or family pressure that an individual gets. Okay, this is maybe egoistic husband, and men also can be sometimes suffering. Okay, this is also happening. Many men also come and say, they threaten with law. This is how it is. So social or family pressures are there. So they are facing a lot of, turmoil. Some other cause, these two suffer. So once this premarital education comes into picture and make them understand each other better, then all these things simply disappear. Okay, like a passing cloud. Then another big problem that couple face before marriage or even after marriage is dowry. The case could be genuine as well as fake many times because of the biased laws in favor of women, particularly because the government wants to uplift them, but it fails to recognize, prove and or even punish those whose claims are false. Okay. The false accusations could be because they want the divorce soon or somehow intend to avenge, or simply because they have mastered in manipulations and enjoy others' sufferings. So the scars are permanent because who accuses her in-laws for ill treatment has no intention to get along back anyway. So this obviously ends up into divorce whether or not the issue even existed. And I have been seeing so many couples for years together fighting in the court, and children are left without a care of the parent. So obviously it will have an influence and effect on the children. And I have seen those children having many chronic diseases right in their childhood, which is not necessary. Okay. So premarital education helps overcoming such issues intelligently. Okay. And then forced marriages. Sometimes the guys and the girls are not ready to start a new life and get too exhausted by endless questions asked by relatives. When are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? Like that. And their own parents also, they will be asking, we are feeling like that, we are becoming old, and if you don't listen to us, like this kind of thing. So they end up meeting others' demands and ignore their own existence. So they marry because of the social pressure and get frustrated later because of the after effects they surprisingly get. So premarital education gives them the clarity, understanding and stand together to do something that will be really winning every heart. And spirituality is another aspect that we look into in the premarital education. Spirituality is not about practicing yoga and meditation. It is about being happy all the time for no particular reason. And materialism is about finding matter for the happiness. Why are you happy? Today is your birthday, so you are happy. Tomorrow you should not be happy because it's not your birthday, no? So happy New Year because today is New Year, like that. Tomorrow nobody can wish you because I just wished today somebody happy New Year. They said yesterday it's over. So what, you can't be happy in this year? Continue it. So in premarital education, spirituality is offered as a process to evolve into a happy being. It's not about just getting some happiness, being happy all the time. You can celebrate life for no reason. Your partner loves to be with the happy you, correct? If you see a small child simply happy, you don't mind going and hugging that child or playing with that child because it's so happy. So your happiness attracts your loving partner. So let us enrich ourselves with happiness through spiritual practices that is offered in premarital education. Now, conclusion. Let's look at what is the need of premarital education. A romantic love for the person you are going to marry is the best feeling in the world. But the honeymoon euphoria, they say, may be followed by disappointment and festering resentment if you don't put in the work to give your marriage a chance of being long-term, strong and happy. So premarital you to have realistic expectations. I will teach you the life skills you will need to survive the random blows and painful situations that are a part of any life and can push even the happiest marriage to a brink of divorce. Okay. So separation is painful to the couple as well as their families. Okay. And most importantly, children, if they have. It's not necessary for the couple, hasn't chosen to separate. Then they are happily married to each other. There is always the social pressure behind, or simply because of children, that they still choose to compromise. But premarital education is an investment in love. If a couple is determined to make this union last, they will have no problem showing this type of commitment early on, even in education. If you want your marriage to go the distance, give premarital education a try. The goal is, in a marriage, what is it? The goal is not to think alike. The goal is to think together. Think alike, nobody will think alike. Every mind has its own pattern. God has created each one very unique. But together you can complement each other and evolve something much more, much better, much higher possible. You have come together to complement each other. You are not coming together to think in the same line. Okay, same as the other. Okay, your objections that you make for the other person is going to add value to your ideas and plans. That's how you'll be able to invite objections. You are able to involve objections. You are able to include everybody in your decision making. Okay, so this is about think together. Okay. Now maybe a question that's going on in the minds that how is it offered? Today the situation is such that the whole world has transformed from an actual classroom to a virtual classroom, like you are learning from this platform. Technology is making it possible for you to write, everything possible right at your home, correct? All you need is a PC or a laptop or even a 4G mobile to go through these educational classes. The course will be announced soon for your advantage, and you just enroll to the course and will be guided through. In some special cases, you may require some personal counseling services. They are also offered in this platform. Yuva 2.0 education is going to offer every necessary support to see that every young mind gets the proper guidelines and and every kind of a support to make their life worthy and very powerful and effective. So you just join and guide it through and celebrate life. So the advantages to a premarital education finally can be said like this. You'll be able to attract your ideal life partner. You will be able to make a beautiful, sweet home. You will be an inspiring parent to your children and also for the other couple. Other couples will see you as their model. And you will be able to financially plan and establish your sustainability. You will learn to include and think together. And you be happy and celebrate life, learning in every moment. And you can welcome babies of your choice. That's your children, okay? A healthy lifestyle and a learned living attitude is created. Whatever offered here is not just theoretical, it's what actually we experimented on ourselves and trained thousands of parents, and today we are seeing them very successful with their children, and they are also very successful individuals. They have gone established greater institutions. They are running bigger things. So all this is because they have a very happy married life together. We wish you a very happy married life. Ravisankar Infinite Education is offering through Yuva 2.0, this premarital education. Happy Yuva 2.0 New Year to you. So here I end my presentation, and you are welcome to ask any questions that you have.
Thank you, Raviji. It was a very interesting session. I request all the participants to ask questions, if any, in this regard.
How much time we have, Vinodji?
We have 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. Can I ask each one of you to say something about what you got from this session? Starting from one by one, I call out the names and you can tell me like that, okay? Is it fine?
Yes. That's a great idea.
Okay, Dr. G.K. Srinivaskar, please.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Namaskar, Raviji. It was wonderful. I don't think so I can have any question because I'm happily married last 22 years and it's God gifted family. And as whatever you give the points and absolutely valid, children are coming through us. So we don't have any rights to, sit on their head to decide. So you're completely till the goal. I was really, inspired about thinking alike is different from thinking together. It is wonderfully put it across. Your voice modulation is really rhythming for me to, like so much for a wonderful session, sir. I don't have any questions. Thank you so much.
Dhanyavad. Thank you very much. Shivaguru Prasad, something to share? Unmute.
Guruji, this session is wonderful, and I want to join my boy also. That is both of them. When it will be started, Guruji?
Yeah, that you will be informed because you have already registered for the program. You will be getting from Yuva 2.0 invitation. Okay, it will be announced. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You can also join Shivaguru Prasad, even if you are married for a long time.
Okay.
Meenakshima. Meenakshima, you have something to say, please.
Yes, Raviji, it was a very interesting run through of a holistic experience for any individual. As you say, one has to celebrate even small successes, and what is life all about? It's full of celebrations and nothing else. I think you told a very beautiful line of, as an educator, I also feel that you touched on many important facets which has to find a place integrated even when we train the teachers and tell them, very subtly as to how the whole components, fit each other in creating a beautiful picture. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Even if there is a little flaw in one of the puzzles, you won't get the bigger picture. But then how to intricately fit ourselves into the puzzle in such a way that it gives a beautiful outer picture is what we have to learn in terms of adjusting and staying together, and respecting oneself and valuing each other, the attitude, and I think you touched on almost all the components. And as Dr. Srinivasan said, I am also like, with 64, I'm now with grandchildren around. And I think I've had the experience of how to be like how to behave like a mother-in-law more than a mother, and then how to draw a boundary for ourselves, and when we have to lead them as individuals responsible for themselves, where we need to exactly mark a frame and let everybody flourish and contribute something, and we should allow them to be responsible enough to contribute, think, and as you say, and debating can be over an issue but not on the person. And then I think I thank once again Yuva Padmanabhan for giving this excellent opportunity to be knowing all of you as excellent, people who have been contributing so much to the welfare of the society. And I think you said a beautiful line of setting a platform for a healthy living with a learning attitude. That is one sentence I liked so much. For a healthy living with the learned attitude is something which we all have to do in terms of, removing that total ignorance and illiteracy in the world in toto, so that you get this platform to enjoy everything. And I wish everybody happy moments ahead. As you say, every moment is so enriching if you look back and express that little gratitude for even being able to listen to you today. I think I should be thankful enough to pick up some few words, and I really enjoyed going through your presentations with the beautiful drawings that attracted me the most today. I have to learn to present such beautiful slides. Maybe mine is not so good, but then I would pick up some iota of that presentation, and I enjoyed the pictures more than the wording. So that was a real treat. And it's like getting to know some little things from all of you, and that makes me happier in a platform like this. And thank you once again to be knowing all of you, and let's all walk together in this platform and do something really worthwhile to the society, if you are able to do, with the God's grace. Thank you so much.
So wonderful. Meenakshi, you have got such a great wisdom. And I was just seeing you as an academician, but today I see you as a complete woman who is able to really appreciate minute and the intricate things in the whole program. Very difficult to catch those things unless you have some worthy wisdom inside. Thank you very much, Meenakshi. I really respect you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my presentation is not complete without my wife by being, on my side.
Yeah,
so I welcome my wife.
Ardhanarishwara.
Exactly. Actually, she was so busy with the household work. She just came to see what's happening. So I said, please join. It doesn't matter how you do after a tedious work, but still, here is my wife, Gayatri.
Namaste. I heard your words, and also Dr. Srinivas sir. It was really very good thing,
Thank
very
you.
good. Vinod sir, namaste.
Yeah, so nice. So I would like to hear from Bhuvi.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Sir, first of all, you are doing a great work. We are very happy to have you here today. And as an unmarried girl, I learned many things today from you, and why premarital education is much important, and how to handle things and how to overcome from things in a better manner. I learned a lot. Thanks a lot, Raviji. And I thank all the participants for your valuable presence. Thanks a lot. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Bhuvi, you are right. See, whenever you buy a small pen or something like, you come with a manual, but we don't get such kind of a thing when you want to have a long time, lifetime relationship. For an MBA or MCA is required for you to do a small business or anything like that. But for a life business, you don't have such a training. So this is most important training. I thank actually Padmanabhan sir, Yuva 2.0 founder, who really inspired me to take up this challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Prakash ji, yesterday I heard you fantastic, phenomenal, review. I would like to hear from you, Prakash ji, please.
Thank you very much. Great pranams to Guru Ravi ji and your life partner, and very happy to be present in the midst of all your great people here. So you wonderfully explained about the premarital education. So which is the clear understanding of our life that is most important. So you rightly pointed out. So the purpose of the life is to lead a happy life, for which we need a complete understanding, and any wrong understanding or misunderstanding which result in only in painful divorce, as you have rightly pointed out. So as you have pointed out, life is a great, enjoyable, and it is memorable one, only if it is understood properly. So later realization will have no effect. People generally say, doing Surya Namaskaram after the eyesight has gone and got blind. So as Raviji has greatly explained about the importance and benefit of the premarital education, which will avoid any such activities, so that the new married couple will start their life and continue their journey with the same kind of happiness. So the life will be of great success only with a great understanding between the partners. That is the most important, between the husband and wife. So you rightly point out the most important thing is lack of communication. Only if there is a proper and timely communication makes any married life is a great success, no doubt. So premarital education, which will be a great boon to avoid misunderstanding each other in the family and leading for a successful life. And you have right, the goal you have mentioned is I like. The goal in marriage is not to think alike, but think together. That is the most attractive word. But thinking, God has created every human beings, but all are not alike. Everyone has got their own thinking. To align them is most important. So to make such alignment, if they are within themselves, is okay. When there is such absence, it is the premarital education which helps them to get the proper alignment, which will lead their life very happily. So I request the maximum participants should take this advantage and the great of these, utilize this great opportunity for leading a happy married life. It doesn't mean that one should take this only after the problem arises, but even before, to have a proper understanding, is everyone has to go through this, which will keep the happy family, and also their next generation will follow them. Thank you very much for your wonderful lecture and the presentations. Pranams.
Thank you, Prakashji. You have really given a beautiful review, as if like, I have done the whole session again. It has given a complete picture of whatever has been presented. Thank you very much. I would like to listen to Edayappan Kavita or something like that, right? Odayappan. Yeah. Please.
Namaste ji, Udayapan Kavita. Yeah. Yeah, now, Raviji, it was indeed a very pleasant evening to have listened to you. Your voice was really, flowing with the right words. And those days, it wasn't this kind of education wasn't required for two reasons. One was we could act watching our ancestors role models, how our great grandpas and grandmas, how they acted. And so similarly, we followed the path. So that was one of the reasons. And, we had right role models in front of us. So this wasn't given a deep thought. But today, it is much needed as the logic of education lies in growing together. And sadly, it is lost. And one great aspect of this is this education for today is brought to us by couples together, is what I like. This is one thing I would really appreciate, because you have brought in both the male and the feminine aspect here. And a much experienced person like you, like both of you as a couple, nothing more best can be delivered to the society, I suppose. Thank you very much, G, for taking such an initiative. And society begins when two people come together, and a society can grow only with the next, generated babies. And you're here right in spare time to, create the right babies. I would say. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kavitama. So nice. Finally, I would like to hear to Padmanabhanji, who has really inspired me to get into this great movement. I don't call it a program or something. It's a movement, alarming and alerting and enthusing people to learn a new world order. Thank you, Padmanabhanji. Please say your words finally.
Namaste, namaste, Gayatri Ma, namaste, Raviji. This is life is a celebration, honestly speaking. I can say, I wanted to say education is a celebration. So life is beautiful, honestly. Life is beautiful. So I could able to see from both of you, I'm enjoying life. Honestly, I'm enjoying life after talking to both of you, after seeing both of you. I'm enjoying each second, honestly speaking. And I'm really, thankful to all of you, all the legends sitting here. Though the numbers are less, I'm seeing each one of you is like, numbers are less, but each one of you is more than lakh people. Power of each one of you more than lakh. So all are ambassadors of our nation. Vedic heritage says very clearly, education is the only way by which we can take our nation to heights. Education is a celebration. That is why we named it as education is a celebration. So when we have handed over the responsibilities to people like you, then what else we expect? What else we need to do? I wanted, to extend few minutes to listen to Gayatri Ma's 1 minute song. I just wanted her to sing a 1 minute, song so that we can end up this in a nice manner. I promise you by the end of this year, 2021, definitely India will be in a world map, like in the top. That's what I can promise you. With blessings of Dayananji, Chinmayananji, we will definitely do that. As a team, Raviji is with us, Gadrima is with us, and the entire team is with us. And Vinodji, it is your responsibility, honestly I'm saying, to take this to heights. To take Yuva is not actually, maybe I may be an instrument. It is the team that is going to deliver to the whole universe. I am just an instrument. Again, I'm mentioning I am just an instrument. Let us end up, because it's time. Let us listen to Amma's song. 1 minute song. A Mangal song.
I'm so happy to see Vinod sir with his wife. I hope. Am I right?
Yeah, Vinod sir is there with his wife. It is very great blessing if we can see.
So I said everybody contributed. You haven't asked me for what.
It so happens in every program.
Probably the youngest now, after movie, probably the youngest. And I would like to tell you that 10 years back, this presentation wouldn't have made any sense to me, right? So when you talked about all the stakeholders in the marriage ecosystem, I'm 41 right now, but now it makes 200% sense. And my wife also listened to the whole presentation. And I wanted to make sure to tell you together that there is so much to learn and implement, and you probably have your first student couple
on this platform. Okay.
Thank you so much, Vinodji.
Over to Gayatri.
So nice.
आवो कन्हैया कन्हैया आओ कन्हैया आवो कन्हैया आवो आवो गोपियन संग खेलो आवो आवो गोपियन संग खेलो आवो कन्हैया आवो कन्हैया आवो यशोदा मैया ढूंढ रही है कहाँ है मेरा लाल कहाँ है गोपाल यशोदा मैया ढूंढ रही है कहाँ है मेरा लाल कहाँ है गोपाल वृंदावन की गली गली में वृंदावन की गली गली में नाचत नाचत आवो वृंदावन की गली गली में नाचत नाचत आवो तुमर दरस के प्यासे हैं हम आकर दरस दिखाओ तुमर दरस के प्यासे नैना आकर दरस दिखाओ आवो कन्हैया आवो कन्हैया आवो कन्हैया कन्हैया Thank you very much.
Wonderful,
Thank
wonderful
you.
singing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I think we have broken some rules of this program.
Absolutely no problem.
There are no rules when you celebrate. So
Yeah, it was a nice ending, you know. Instead of starting with an invocation, you ended up with a beautiful song. That was it.
Thank you, Meenakshi. So,
Gayatri Amma has come at last, so we wanted to end it. That's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
else.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Only
Thanks
one
everybody.
thing I will tell you, sir. See, life came to this.